What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Pixel Pulse, a video game podcast where we keep our finger on the pulse of everything gaming. This is episode 27. My name is Justin Mislamy, and with me today is nobody. That's right, guys. I'm riding solo today. Kyle wasn't able to attend this week. Well, the one day he was able to. I was a little late that day, so it just ended up being too late for him. And then he had things going on the rest of the week, so unfortunately he could not be here with me today. So I hope you guys are all doing well out there. It's good to be here with you guys and hop on another podcast and let you guys know what's going on in the gaming world. We do have some topics I would like to go over. I was thinking about maybe skipping this week, but I don't know. The gaming industry is so, there's so many, there's just so many things that happen. I mean, every day there's some news story, right? Like something big happens, and I mean this past week was no different. Several subjects I would like to touch on. I won't spend too much on them. Excuse me. I can't anyway because I mean, it's nice to have. That's why it's nice to have another person, like Kyle, or if I would have the guests on, because I can kind of bounce back ideas. But nope, not this time. So just me. So I want to go over what I've been playing lately. Quick answer, not much. I've been renting games from the library. Yeah, you can do that, by the way. You can, if you have a public library, there's a good chance that you can check out games there. Not everyone knows that. I didn't know that until pretty recently. Whoops. Yeah, so I've been checking out games there. I have an all digital PS5, so no PS5 games. I've been checking out Switch and Switch 2 games. So I checked out Kirby and the Forgotten Land, and so far I'm liking it. It's a fun little platformer. It's the areas are still pretty linear, but more open, if that makes sense. You can, I don't know. There's a couple hidden areas that you can kind of go off the beaten path. I mean, they don't lead. I mean, it's not like a huge area that you usually run off to, but it's a little secret path where you can find the little Twiddle-Dees, I think they're called. I'm probably saying that wrong, but you can find or the little gotcha prizes. They have like the little gotcha prizes that you can find throughout the levels too. It's pretty cool. It's fun. It's Kirby. I mean, it's nothing too difficult. It's definitely not press right to win like some Kirby games are. There are some challenge levels that are optional that you can take part in. They are pretty tough. I will say that. They have a time. They have a time to where you need to complete it just to pass the level, and then they have what's called a target time, and that's the much harder, and that did have me sweating a couple times. So it's not, those levels are for those of you who think that Kirby's a little too easy. Those levels are there for you to play. So yeah, I'm in like the second. I don't call it world because it's all kind of like one big shared world. The second biome area, I guess you could say. It's like a beach area. A lot of fun though. I'm liking it. I'm gotta say, I'm never been a huge Kirby guy myself, but it's fun. I do recommend it for those of you who have kids, maybe who are into like Astrobot or platformers in general. I think it's a good use of time for sure. So, yeah, but there have been things that I do want to talk to you guys about. A few topics that I'd like to go over. First of which, Bethesda just kind of came out of the blue and just said, hey, look at all these Fallout projects we're working on. And kind of touched on Elder Scrolls 6, so that's kind of cool. It just kind of, I woke up to this news, I don't know, 5-6 days ago, whatever it was. But yeah, it was kind of shocking that they just laid out all their plans. So a bunch of Fallout games, by the way. So this article I'm going to read here, this comes way of DualShockers, and Yeah, Todd Howard has just revealed a roadmap for Bethesda Game Studios, which is heavily focused on breathing new life into the Fallout series and finally delivering Elder Scrolls 6. Howard's announcement confirms 4 new Fallout games. Yeah, you heard that right. So we have remasters for Fallout New Vegas and 3. We have Obsidian's new Fallout game, whatever they're working on, and Fallout 5. I did hear that Fallout or Obsidian and Bethesda were going to be working on a Fallout game together. I don't know, but maybe that's Fallout 5 or maybe that's Obsidian's Fallout. I'm not really sure. So maybe it is just 4, but still 4 is a lot of Fallout we're going to be getting over the next few years. So you Fallout fans, you're going to be eating pretty good. I will say that. I mean, I'm one of them. I'm not like a diehard like some people. I know Mr. Matty Plays on YouTube. He's a huge Fallout fan. It was fun watching his reaction to the news. He was pretty. He was really happy, and it's cool. It is exciting. I was a pretty big fan of Fallout 3 and New Vegas. So getting remasters for those specifically, that's definitely for me. Fallout 4, I was a little soft on. I'm not gonna lie, a little soft on that. I don't think I even ever finished Fallout 4. But a big fan of 3 and New Vegas, so I'm looking forward to that. Let me scroll down here. Yeah, so they say here Fallout will be getting some serious love in the near future, as Howard's announcement not only confirms Fallout 5 and is now in pre-production, but also that Bethesda will be developing remasters for Fallout 3 and New Vegas and collaborating with Obsidian Entertainment on a new Fallout project that is still largely a mystery. So yeah, that is the. I was right then. So would that be a 5th Fallout project then? Am I reading this wrong, or is that 5 that they're working on together? I guess I don't know. Either way, they say here Fallout 76 isn't getting left out of the fun either, as a major expansion is planned to release next year called Raven Rock, which will be a prequel to Fallout 3. So I think this is going to happen. I think it's supposed to be like right when all the bombs drop, so it's kind of amid that chaos. So that's kind of cool. I never got into Fallout 76 like even a little bit. So but for those of you who have dabbled in it or who do still actively play it, that will be something to look forward to. So yeah, they say here while the oh, I'm sorry. Howard explains that Elder Scrolls is still first in line, and rightly so. Fallout 5 is currently in pre-production. Elder Scrolls 6 is our primary development focus today, with the majority of our team currently working on the next chapter of the franchise. With over 65 million copies sold, that's crazy. Players are still exploring Skyrim 15 years later, but we know it's been a very long wait for the sequel. Yeah, you can say that again. But they say here too, there's still not a ton of information regarding Skyrim 6 or I think they meant to say Elder Scrolls 6. Other than it's now Bethesda's primary development focus. So that means all hands are on deck now, by the way, for Elder Scrolls 6, which is good news. It's a good sign, they say here. According to Howard, Bethesda is exactly where they plan to be. Fallout 5 and Elder Scrolls 6 will both be made using Creation Engine 3. I have thoughts. Which Bethesda has been building since the launch of Starfield, since it allows our teams to support multiple projects simultaneously with new tools, rendering, and systems that define our games. Elder Scrolls 6 is first in line and will be the studio's primary focus. Creation Engine 3, I don't know, man. That engine is just dated. You call it Creation Engine 3, 4, 5, I don't care. Man, you guys need a new engine. It really showed its age in Starfield. Whether you love the game, hate the game, I'm closer to the latter of that statement. Anyways, that engine does not look good anymore. When you talk to people and it just does that zoom in on their face, and you just see how they have to stop and pause and all the loading and all. I don't know, man. I just wish that they would just come up with a new engine. I'm just tired of it. That's one of the reasons why I was pretty soft on Starfield. Well, and besides it just being a kind of a boring game to me, I could not get into Starfield. Kudos to you guys that did and loved it. That's great. I just ended up not being for me. Uh, yeah, I don't know, man. Creation Engine 3, I was not. I mean, I guess I don't know what I expected. I guess that's to be expected, but they gotta they gotta make. I should say they just have to make some meaningful changes to the engine for me to be a believer and to me, for me to be on board with that. So I don't know. So anyway, I think they're gonna be doing some more Starfield support. Let me scroll down here some more. Yes, so as they say here, Starfield may have had a rocky start, but gamers are still approaching the 1 billion hours logged milestone. And Bethesda has announced they don't plan on giving up on the outer space action RPG. Howard stated, Starfield remains an important part of our future as we enter year 3. We'll continue expanding the settled systems with new stories, targeted gameplay improvements, and additional updates, while preparing for the launch of new Starborn content next year. So there you have it. Are you all you Starheads? Uh, it looks like we're getting new content. I'm story-related content. So I mean that's great. At least they're supporting the game very well, entering its third year. Wow, I can't believe that. So yeah, there's that Fallout, a Fallout blowout, if you will. Just tons of information, not tons of information on the games themselves, just on what they have planned and what's coming out. Like I said before, it looks like we're getting a lot of Fallout over the next few years. It might be like one a year. In fact, you got maybe like the Fallout 3 remaster next year, maybe the New Vegas one the following year. Then it might be a couple more years after that, but then we might get like Obsidian's. I want to say Obsidian's one after that. Maybe 2030. I don't know, 2031. They just announced that they were working on it, so it might be like 4 or 5 years. And then I'm assuming we're going to get Fallout 5 after that. So, anyway. So that's something to look forward to. Good news there. Bethesda's busy. Anyway, next up. We also have GameStop. CEO Ryan Cohen continues to push to buy eBay. He bumps the ownership up to 10%. Yeah, this comes way of IGN. They say video game and collectible retailer GameStop now owns nearly 10% of eBay, following its offer to purchase the online auction website earlier this year. An SEC filing shows GameStop currently controls 43.4 million eBay shares, or about 9.8% of the company. That's nearly double the 5% stake it reported when CEO Ryan Cohen revealed his goal to acquire the company in May. So yeah, this guy is not giving up on nabbing eBay. So he says here, eBay is a platform that I can build into something much more profitable and much larger, Cohen told Bloomberg in an interview last week. The ability to take GameStop stores and our experience in gaming and refurbished tech and collectibles combined with eBay and be a leader in live commerce, build out an in-game digital marketplace, use the stores for same-day authentication, and ultimately pull out significant costs. So I guess that'd be kind of cool. Thinking about it, does that mean like eBay would have stores, like retail stores that you can kind of go into and shop around? I don't know what he kind of means. I don't even know what he means by that, to be honest. But he continues on. He says, none of these things come at the expense of growth. It's actually the opposite. The more efficient you get, the easier it is to grow. It makes too much sense. That's why I want to buy it. It's not that complicated. So, yeah. Because this happened in May. Cohen announced his company had made an unsolicited $55.5 billion offer for the company at $125 per share in cash and stock. The goal, he said, at the time was to become a legit competitor to Amazon. The CEO, who was chipping in $500 million of his own money, posted about selling items on eBay to pay for eBay shortly after. eBay rejected the offer 1 week later, following what it called a thorough review. The company's full public response to GameStop called its bid neither credible nor attractive. So, but now GameStop has increased its ownership to almost 10%. He told Bloomberg that eBay has not reached out in the interim. He said he hopes it does, adding, but they're entrenched and they're hiding behind their advisors. Uh, so I wonder, you know, before he had said that if eBay rejected his offer, which they did clearly, that he would go straight to the shareholders. So I don't know if that's still his plan, if that's what he's going to do. I'm not really sure how it works. I mean, do they just? I guess if he takes his bid to the shareholders and he says, "Well, let's have a vote," I guess they would vote on it, and then if they're in favor, I guess they gets his wish granted. I assume. I don't know if it's just that simple, black and white, but I assume that's basically what happens. Sorry, I have an itchy arm today. I've been kind of scratching at it. I'm sure you. Sorry about that. But um, so yeah, I'll be interested to see what happens here because just eBay and GameStop. I don't know because you see GameStop because another thing he said was that he was asked about Sony's moving away from physical games and he said it doesn't matter. He said didn't matter. He's not worried about that at all. He says it's irrelevant. I suppose when you go into a GameStop now, all you really, I mean, you do. There's the games, still the large part of the stores, but you see it's all collectibles now. It's cards, Pokemon cards. It's merchandise. It's all kinds of. I guess a lot of GameStop stores have like, they have the table setups where you can like have like tournaments and card games. They kind of want to be that. They're kind of moving in that direction. So I can kind of, I guess, see where he's coming from when he says that they're becoming, plus Sony said that they will sell the digital codes at retail, so they will still hold like, the digital codes for each of the games. I'm assuming. So I guess he's probably right. It probably doesn't matter, to be honest. It's just weird that he says that, and like GameStop literally has the name game in the word, whatever. So yeah, I just wanted to touch on that quick and just talk about that for a brief moment. But yeah, moving on. So we all know we're on day 24 of Sony really not talking about the physical media decision it came to, despite all the backlash, all the the pushback that Sony has got from the community. It's major. It's and the problem is now it's spilling out into their partners, their developers. Now we had touched on this, right? Like it's how it was spilling out to like Sony's other departments. Well, now it's spilling out into. I mean, indie devs can't even like promote their game. An indie dev who has like just one of their small little games that isn't coming to physical, and they are just being lambasted in the comments, like disc or no buy, or physical media forever, screw Sony. And they're like, guys, we'd love to do something like that, but we have to maybe see how our game sells first, and then that's something we can maybe revisit in the future. We'd love to, and that's the thing too, right? Like these indie developers, they do want physical media. They want to put their games on disc too. They want their games to do well enough to where they can put them on disc, but that's a little risky for a startup indie developer who's making this, maybe their first or second game. They don't have a lot of backing or whatnot, and they don't have like the funds to really get the get it on a disc and get it all shipped. They maybe want to see how their game does digitally first before maybe they can get a little more revenue, and then they can make a physical copy. But they're getting bashed in comments. It's not them. It's just Sony. It's because they're advertising for PlayStation. So, and now, from what we're hearing, is that some of their third-party publishers are getting upset with this. This comes way of Game Rant. It says rumors suggest that some third-party publishers may be growing frustrated with Sony's social media strategy following its decision to discontinue PlayStation discs in 2028. Sony has been under fire since July 1st announcement, with most of the backlash coming from fans unhappy with the decision. Now, some people claim to have insider information suggesting that frustration with the Japanese company and PlayStation might extend beyond just the players. The first major wave of user backlash began on July 7th when PlayStation finally broke its silence on social media. The company acted as if nothing had happened, posting about games and other topics unrelated to its recently announced no disc policy. Many fans viewed this as disrespectful, rightfully so, and flooded every PlayStation post, and they did too. The boy did they. I've been on them just to look, and it's just littered. It's nothing but disc, no disc, no buy, no, screw PlayStation. That's all you see on these ads. But yeah, they flooded every PlayStation post with thousands of negative comments, mostly reminding Sony that the user base had not forgotten the controversial decision. Now, that same fan led movement is reportedly causing frustration among third party publishers as well. Um, so, yeah, this was on Broken. If you guys have heard of Moore's Law is Dead, it was on the July 14th episode of his Broken Silicon podcast. YouTuber Tom, who runs the Moore's Law is Dead channel, I just said that, I'm sorry, I'm being redundant here, claimed he knows developers who are unhappy with Sony's social media strategy. He referenced a conversation with an anonymous developer who said PlayStation offers one free social media ad post to promote new games, but charges developers and publishers for additional marketing. Now, with every PlayStation post being flooded with negative comments, some third-party publishers are reportedly questioning whether they should continue paying the company to promote their games, at least while the online backlash continues. And this is what I was touching on about the indie developers. An indie developer has publicly addressed how the current backlash against Sony is hurting smaller games. On July 16th, Eat Pant Games took to social media to explain that the team was excited to see its indie games trailer posted on PlayStation's YouTube channel, only to find that most of the attention it received was negative. The trailer drew about 400 comments shortly after its release, with most discussing PlayStation's no-disc policy. Needless to say, many people many people also disliked the video on YouTube without actually disliking the game itself. So, yeah, I'll leave it there for now. But yeah, so, Tom was saying too on his podcast, and it's so true. I mean, you got to figure, like, say, he made this example, but like, say you're Ubisoft or EA and you want to promote your new game, and you want to promote it, 2-3 times, and you got to pay Sony a fee to do that. So you promote it, and then nothing but negative, just backlash comments. Not even about your game, but about Sony's decision. And so it just receives this negative tension, this vibe to it. And he states too, and it's, if I was one of these developers, I would look at this post, and I would just be like, well, that can't be the one that I paid for. That shouldn't count at all. I want another do-it. I want a do-over. I want to do that again. That one is not shouldn't count for the one that I paid for. And I would definitely understand that Sony should grant them another, like a new free one if they needed to, or wanted to, I should say. So yeah, I don't know. This look. So I don't think Sony's gonna. It's dying down a little bit, I've noticed, but not much. People are not going to forget this. Sony is going to have to, one way or another, address this. It's becoming too. It's no longer the elephant in the room, right? It's becoming like the blue whale in the room. It's becoming, it's bigger than that, is what I mean. It's like, Sony, you need to talk about this in some way, fashion. Don't just make a random PS blog post and then just bury it days later. You can't do that. There has to be some official statement from Nishino or somebody. Don't put Herman Holst out there because nobody trusts that butthead anymore. I'm thinking Nishino, or I was thinking Cerny, but I was like, I don't know if Cerny's the right. I don't even know if he's a Sony employee. To be honest, but it's you gotta do something here, Sony. It's just this backlash is going to haunt you forever. if you do not say or do something. Um, so, but yeah, I wanted to touch on that the third party developers not being happy with Sony right now with this decision. Um, so we'll see what happens in the coming weeks, months. Uh, but flipping sides to Xbox, there is another little juicy rumor here. So we've gotten word. Sorry, this comes via Destructoid, by the way. There are chiefs at Xbox's first party studios apparently hate Game Pass. So Xbox Game Pass has made AAA and viral games a lot more accessible and cheaper. Oh, I'm not even gonna read any of that. They talk about the Game Pass model anyway and what it does. They say here, but this is a big problem, especially for games that are supposed to cost 50, 60, or more, $70, since it significantly drives down revenue and obfuscates any given title's success. Like the Outer Worlds 2, they give an example of a good game, but it had a very few people engaging with it on Steam, with most preferring not to dish out the $70 and play it instead through Game Pass. Since you guys know, it was there day one, as they say here. So, and apparently, it says here, an Xbox's studio executives seem to be well aware of this and apparently hate Game Pass with a passion. So don't just hate it. They had to add that in. This is according to Jason Schreier, who says that Xbox will likely never kill Game Pass, but will probably start mass removing day one. I think this too, by the way. We'll start mass removing day one titles from the service because that makes no sense anymore. And sorry, it goes on here. You take a game like South of Midnight. That's a game that was not exactly critically acclaimed or anything, but the people who really loved it. It really spoke to them. Schreier said, and that's a game that costs $40 to buy, but on Game Pass you can get it for what was it, $15 a month, $20 a month, whatever it was at the point that game was released. This creates an environment where people actively do not want to engage with the game by purchasing it in full, but would rather take the Game Pass shortcut and save a whole lot of money. Due to this, Schreier explains, there are a lot of people out there in studio leadership within Xbox who obviously detest Game Pass and think it has destroyed the value of their games. They think it has taken away from the value of all games in general, just as a service, he said, and that it's been a detriment to the games industry and those people's views because of how it devalues games. So yeah, there's more, but I'm not going to read any of that. I guess the one thing I have to say about this is you don't say. I mean, even if I was with Xbox, I would hate to think that my team worked on a game for 3, 4, 5, 6 years sometimes, as these games have gotten longer and longer to take to make, and it's their day one on a rental service, free to download. I should say free with your subscription, to download, and hardly anyone buys it because they all expect it to be. I mean, they think, why should I spend $60, $70 on this game when I get it through my Game Pass subscription? I'm not gonna buy this. I'm just gonna play it, and I do agree. It does devalue games. I don't see how it doesn't. When you have your games on a rental service like this, it just kind of kills your mojo. I don't know how to really kind of get into it. I wish I had Kyle here. He could kind of add a better context and get deeper into it. But I know if I was with Xbox, I would not be happy to see my game just kind of let out of the gates like that. I guess you could be an exception like Forza Horizon 6, which did sell millions of copies because it was released on PC as well. So that the PC community really helped that game out. I know it did. So, but I don't know. I feel for these developers. I know they don't want their game on Game Pass. I do think, and I do think eventually Xbox will not, like Schreier said, I don't think they're going to move away from Game Pass completely, but I do see a world where they're like, and probably, I would say maybe even like next year, where they're like, okay, we're not going to do day one games anymore. It's killing our sales, Um, that, or they're going to introduce a even higher tier, higher paid tier, where you can just get all the day one Game Pass games. So, but I don't know. It's weird with Sharma coming in and now them kind of moving to maybe more exclusives. I don't know. It just seems like they might be moving away from Game Pass slowly. Um, and also on that note, I had this as a separate article, but I'll just say, they're moving more towards exclusives. But then you have Matt Booty come out a couple days ago saying, well, don't hone in on the single player games. That's not it's not something we're going to you need to focus on. He says it's not carved in stone. So this kind of mixed messaging is not helping, because he did say here. I'm gonna pull up the article here. This comes from mpfirst.com, and by the way, so Mrs. Matt Booty has once again explained that not every single player game will automatically remain exclusive to Xbox. So he was speaking with Games Radar. Matt Booty did say that fans should not assume that single player games will always remain console exclusives. I wouldn't overly fixate on single player. I think that's a good rule of thumb, but it certainly isn't something that's carved in stone. The interview comes just weeks before the launch of Gears of War E-Day and ahead of Clockwork Revolution, which is expected to arrive in 2027. In addition, Microsoft has already shown that not every game from Xbox Game Studios, Bethesda, and Activision Blizzard will be limited to Xbox consoles, like Minecraft Dungeons 2 and Grounded 2 are both coming to other platforms later this year. So Matthew Ball said this is because large live service games are designed to reach players across multiple platforms. Some fans believe this would mean that single player games would stay exclusive, but Booty said that the decision is made on a game by game basis. He said, there are a lot of different games in our portfolio. We have to think about how different games serve different purposes within it. Ball also admitted that the company's strategy may not be easy for players to understand, saying, I recognize this approach is not obvious to all of our players, and we are committed to making this clear. Well, that's easy to say, but you're already kind of throwing around mixed messaging with your exclusives. I don't know. And Xbox is all the companies really do it at, one way or another, but Xbox has really famously been known now, within the last 5-6 years, to just constantly change their mind. It's on a week to week basis, because the problem too, I guess you can call it a problem and a good thing, however you want to view it, but the executives, the top brass at Xbox, will just not shut the heck up. They're talking all the time, and sometimes like this, to their detriment. It's like, you don't have to really say anything about this. I don't know. But like I said, they more than any other company that I know, Xbox. Well, I should say Microsoft. That's the company, but Xbox changes their minds. It's just, you gotta roll with the punches with them, because you never know. So I don't know about the whole exclusive. I don't know if the Fallout games, if Fallout and the next Elder Scrolls will be exclusive. When Todd Howard was asked about this, he said it was too early to comment on that. Sounds like he doesn't really know. Maybe he does, and he's not saying. But so I don't know. I don't know if those games will be exclusive or not. We'll have to see. And yeah, trying to think of what else I have here. Oh, last story. I think this is the last story right here. Yeah. So guys, it turns out we're 4 months after the launch of Marathon, and the game director has left Bungie. So game director Joe Ziegler has announced that he's leaving the game and Bungie effective today. His role will be filled by Del Chafe III. I'm probably not saying that right. Previously the assistant game director, who along with creative director Julia Nardin will guide Marathon into the next chapter with an even better and brighter future. As for me, I'll be heading to something new somewhere else, and will update you on where and what soon, Ziegler wrote on X. I just want to say a deeply heartfelt thank you to all of you for supporting me and Marathon in our I can't talk today, guys. I'm sorry. In our windy mission to bring a dark and terrifying space survival frontier to your screen. The mission will continue in new and surprising ways, so stay tuned for what this team has in store for you. It's been a pleasure seeing all the stories you've created, all the clever ways you've found ways to murder robots and one another. Hopefully, as I move on to new things, you'll join me for those adventures as well. So, yeah, this I don't know how you read into this. This can't be good, right? I mean, the game just launched like it says here, 4 months ago, and the game director has left. I think now is the time, with pretty much the whole Destiny team being laid off. They have to focus on Marathon now and try and get some more players. I did read recently that the player base jumped, tripled after they introduced this new PvE mode. I haven't jumped on Marathon in a while, so I'm part of the problem, I guess, or solution, however you want to look at that. So with this PvE mode, though, I guess the player base jumped 3 times, but what is that, 1,000 to 3,000, 2,000 to 6,000? I mean, who knows? The player count isn't very strong right now, or it wasn't before this update dropped. So it doesn't really say a whole lot. It does say people are becoming a little bit more interested in this PvE mode. I mean, and maybe this will do good. Maybe it'll get a lot of positive reactions online, and it'll push other people to try it. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about Marathon at this point. It seems like it's just kind of dying a semi-slow death, semi-quick death. I don't know. I think it's getting, from what I've read, it's getting harder and harder to find a game in Marathon. So I don't know what you do from here. I don't know if you just give it the support that you've promised for another year, and then pull the plug, start on your next projects, or I guess they have started on them, but full steam ahead. I don't know. I wish I had a better solution for Bungie. My best answer is I don't know what they should do from here. They just had their entire staff halved, right? They're going from 800 to 400 something. So it's not good, man. I don't know what Bungie looks like in a year from now, 2 years from now. Will we still have a Bungie? I don't know. I hope so, because I like Bungie. I think Bungie makes good games. I think Marathon's a good game. In fact, I don't know. I really hope they want. I hope they make another single player / co-op first person shooter a la Halo. I mean something I just mean something like that type of game. Just a single player, great story led game that you can play with your friends. I think that's what I selfishly want, because I love Halo. Speaking of that, I'm sure Kyle's playing Halo right now. He got the early access, so I know he's pretty excited about that. But yeah, that's it, guys. All the topics that I wanted to go over with you guys today. So that's it. That'll do it for today's episode, guys. As always, if you're new, checking us out for the very first time, consider throwing us a like. That'd be great. Possibly even subscribing. It would help us out and the channel out a lot. So until next time, guys, you stay leveled, stay looting, and we will catch you at the next save point. Peace.